Sharper Point Commentary, presented by Schwartz Laser Eye Center.
Generally, I try to make my commentaries about Arizona issues or about how nationwide stories affect us here, so I don't usually go global. Unless we're talking about missiles that can fly around the globe and are capable of hitting us smack dab in the Grand Canyon State. Missiles topped with a weapon that could make a hole big enough that the Grand Canyon looks like a small arroyo in comparison.
The great fear of any conflict involving any nuclear power is that nuclear weapons are used, escalation occurs, and once escalation begins, it's very difficult to pull back.
That's Professor Daniel Rothenberg, co-director of the Center on the Future of War at ASU's School of Politics and Global Studies. By the way, Russian President Vladimir Putin just signed a revised nuclear doctrine declaring that a conventional attack on Russia by any nation that's supported by a nuclear power will be considered a joint attack. That new nuclear doctrine follows President Joe Biden's decision to allow Ukraine to strike targets inside Russia with U.S.-supplied longer-range missiles. Putin signing this new nuke doctrine is a sign that he's willing to even threaten nuclear war to force the West to back down as Moscow presses its slow-moving offensive in Ukraine. So how likely is Putin to use the ultimate weapon? Is he that hungry for Ukraine, a former part of the Soviet Union, to rejoin Mother Russia? Does Russia's latest move mean we'll be using two W's and some Roman numerals again to describe a war as in WWIII? Professor Rothenberg?
I think the good news is the worst scenarios, the truly worst idea that there was the use of nuclear weapons, a World War III, that is not a likely outcome of this conflict.
Not likely? That doesn't make me feel quite sure enough that nuclear-tipped intercontinental ballistic missiles could be flying through the sky. Professor Rothenberg saying basically anything's possible.
But nothing really about the conflict, the way it's played out, suggests that sort of outcome. But things happen in history that we don't expect and we don't know. So I think being concerned is rational. How could you not be concerned?
Okay, Professor Rothenberg, I'm getting mixed signals here. So I'd like our leaders to stop sending mixed signals. I want to see Russia stop from overtaking the sovereign nation of Ukraine. I want Putin stop from trying to reassemble the Soviet Union and taking any more territory in Europe, but not at the expense of American lives. So I've never been for U.S. military personnel being sent there, but sending our missiles there so that Ukraine can then send those missiles over into Russia could result in civilian Americans' lives being lost because they're going to hit us with a nuke, right? All right, maybe I'm overplaying this. But the more likely use of nukes by Putin would be tactical, at least. So maybe we should tell Biden to quit treating Putin like he's an enemy, or at least him thinking we're treating him like an enemy. And to the incoming president, I'll remind him, Putin is most certainly not our friend and not somebody to look up to.